lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much for coming to our screening. We tried very hard to make a film that was nonpartisan and non-political, that was neither for liberals or conservatives. We tried to make a film that appealed to people who enjoy Hollywood big-budget movies, as well as obscure independent films. We tried to make a film that told the truth, because even though the financial industry is complicated, what happened is actually quite simple to understand. We started with an initial list of interview subjects, and our list grew and expanded with research and as we were shaping our story. And you'll see that, as you mentioned, there were a lot of people in the film that are extremely uncomfortable on camera. And we actually, it was not our mission to cause discomfort, it was just to seek the truth and to tell a story without dumbing it down. In addition, there were a lot of people you'll see who declined interviews. And in the majority of cases, we didn't just accept a lack of response from them, we actually pushed them for clarity's sake to say no, and most of the time they gave an excuse and said they were too busy or something like that, but we wanted to be clearer about who was declining. And I will turn it over to Charles, who has a few more comments.
I'd like to do two things. The first is I'd like to give thanks to the most important people who participated in the making of this film and who helped get the film made. And the second thing is that I'd like to do is explain briefly my motivations and goals in making the film. First, with regard to thanks, let me begin with a kind of somewhat, I think, unconventional way and reason for thanking the distributor of the film, Sony Pictures Classics, in the person of its two co-presidents, Tom Bernard and Michael Barker, who were involved with the film from the very beginning, who partially financed it and who are distributing it. You will see very soon that it took, forgive my vulgarity, it took balls to support this film. It was, I'd only made one film before, so this guy who's only made one film in his life wants to make a feature-length documentary about finance, which people are supposed to be interested in. And then also you're going to see that this film says some very direct and unpleasant and harsh things about some extremely wealthy, powerful people. And to their great credit, never once did Tom and Michael hesitate at all. And you'll see what that means when you finish seeing this film. Then there were the people who participated in the making of the film. Let me add also that our attorneys and managers, I know this is important, actually. Making a film like this, again, you will see that the legal issues, making sure that we are impregnable legally when you see the film, again, not trivial. John Sloss, Jackie Eckhouse, the people at Sloss Law were very helpful. The people, the core group that made this film was a group of 5 people, of whom I was one, but it was the collective group that made this film, and each of us contributed to the other's functions. Audrey, who also was the producer of our first film, No End in Sight, produced the film, but also she has a great eye, she has great judgment, she was involved in everything. The 2 editors, Chad Beck and Adam Bolt, brilliant people, not just about film, but about politics and life and thinking, and We worked extremely hard. They worked incredibly hard finishing this film. Kalyan Imam, someone who came to the United States at the age of 11 as a Cambodian refugee, then trained as a lawyer, decided she wanted to make films. She has also a good visual eye, is one of the 2 directors of photography, and also was our director of research. And again, when you see the film, you'll see that a great deal of research was involved. Matt Damon, who was absolutely wonderful, who, narrated this film at, to put it very mildly, less than his commercial rate. That would be an understatement. But even more importantly than that, had incredibly smart, insightful suggestions about the narration of the film. And in fact, some of the narration towards the end of the film reflects his suggestions in a way that we found very valuable. It was great to work with him and our composer, Alex Heffes. Now, and many other people also were involved in making the film and helped. I can't name them all, obviously. Just a brief word about my goals in making this film and motivations in doing it. This issue is important. It's really important. Why is the unemployment rate in the United States still officially almost 10%, in reality almost 15%, the same in Europe? Why have millions of people lost their homes? Why have millions of people lost their life savings? There's a reason for these things. And as Audrey said, although the details of finance are complicated, it actually isn't that hard to understand what happened. And I think it's terribly important. And it's a story that isn't being told by our political leaders or for the most part by our academic leaders because they contributed to causing this problem. And so it's important that it be told. And it's been told in several good books, but thus far there hasn't been a film, and I very much hope that we have been able to make a film that is accessible to everybody and that everybody will find interesting and compelling, sometimes amusing and entertaining, but above all, interesting and compelling and dramatic and also, by the way, accurate. So thank you. I hope that you enjoyed the film. Thank you very much for your time.